Hello, my name is Matt Putland and I'm a production designer based in Queensland. I grew up in Northern Territory in a small mining town called Nhulunbuy, which is at the tip of Arnhem Land, quite a remote little town. And I moved to Queensland to finish schooling, years 11 and 12. This was a massive culture shock for me, moving from a small town where the school had an optional school uniform, coming to the big smoke, Brisbane, and suddenly finding the school I was at was an all-boys private Catholic school, and I needed to wear a tie to school, a blazer, pull up my socks. It was a very foreign world to me. But what drew me to this school was that they offered film and TV classes for grades 11 and 12. This ended up becoming a safe space for me. As a kid, I had always loved making little films. My next door neighbour had a VHS camcorder and we used to set that up and shoot little scenarios. I'd build a Lego set and then we'd crush it or burn it and film that and play it back in slow motion. And that's what was really fun for us then. So being able to learn how to do that in high school was a big draw card. From there, I got into the Queensland College of Art and studied a Bachelor of Visual Arts in Film and Television for 3 years. Over those 3 years, we learned all aspects of filmmaking, which was great, and I could hone in on what it was about filmmaking that I enjoyed, which was creating the worlds that the stories take place. Fortunately for me, I was one of the few who was interested in design, so I became the guy who would spend their weekends constructing sets, painting props, dumpster diving, looking for that cheap student film props. And I ended up doing a lot of the projects for my year and also other years, which was great. I got to work on a massive period film or black and white art house films. We even made a 10-minute puppet film where we had to build all of the puppets and all of the sets, which was a massive task, but a huge learning curve for myself. There wasn't a lot of instruction in how to design movies and what that involves at the university at that time. So it was really up to us to work out what we needed and how to get that achieved with our time and budget, which was very little. We ended up doing some pretty crazy things like pyrotechnics in puppet heads, blowing them up in the driveway, using my dad's work ute as a camera platform. These were some of the sort of innovative things that we got up to at the university. The other great thing about being at that college was meeting people. There's a lot of different people from backgrounds there that were all brought together with the same sort of interest and keen inspiration to learn. And while there, I met some great collaborators that would stay with me for the rest of my career. I met Ivan Sen at QCA. He studied there for 1 year before going to AFTIS in Sydney. In that time, we had built a relationship and he asked me to come down to Sydney to work on his third year film, which was a big experience for me as well and lots of fun. And later that relationship grew and he asked me to design 2 of his feature films, Mystery Road and Goldstone. Also at university, I met 2 twin brothers, Peter and Michael Spirig, who had these crazy ideas of making these massive Hollywood blockbuster films, even at university, which was great and inspiring and exciting. So I helped them design their first feature film, which is the classic Aussie zombie flick. We had $5,000 as a budget, and we ended up delivering almost 11 constructed sets, plus the various locations that we filmed at. So it almost killed me, but it formed a relationship with Peter and Michael that grew. So later I was asked to decorate their feature film Daybreakers with Ethan Hawke, and then also go on to design 2 of their feature films, Predestination and Winchester. As a production designer, my role is to deliver the world for the story to take place in. Basically everything you see on screen, bar the person and to some extent what they're wearing, is the job of the production designer and their team to deliver. So that could be a built set, that could be vehicles, guns, animals, props, furniture, everything you see on screen comes through our department to some degree. To do this, we have quite a large team, which is something that I really enjoy about being a production designer, is that we work with a lot of different people, a lot of different crafts people from all walks of life, sculptors, painters, mechanics, graphics artists, interior designers. Every job brings a different crew together, and that's what's really enjoyable about what a production designer does, is that this bunch of people come together and create this world that a story can exist in, which is really exciting. Another great thing about being a production designer in the film industry is the opportunity for travel. For one project called Jungle, I got to travel to Colombia to do half the filming. Half of it was filmed in Queensland and the other half was filmed in Bogota, Colombia, South America. So that was a great experience for me to get to travel to another country, to work with the local crew, find out how they do things compared to how I do things. They taught me, I taught them. I brushed up a lot on my Spanish as a lot of them couldn't speak English. So that was a very rewarding experience doing that project. Also, that project had a bit of a personal note for me. When I was traveling around South America in the late 90s, I came across a book in a hostel written by Yossi Ginsberg about his travels in the early 80s, where he got lost in the jungle for 2 weeks, and that's what the story of the Jungle, the film, was about. So I, in the 90s, grabbed this book and read it as I travelled around South America, not knowing that in 15 years' time that I would be retelling that story. I'm very interested to see the future of the film industry and how the digital expansion becomes more commonplace in what we do, how we tell our stories visually. At the moment, since I was at uni to now, it's been a great advancement in digital technology, computer-generated graphics. That whole world has expanded enormously, and I'm really interested to see where that goes in the future and how I'm going to be telling my stories in the film industry in 5 to 10 years.